Hi everyone, this is Aaron Rump, and if you watched my previous tutorial you can saw how we did the intermediate 2.5D programming, but now we're going to get into basic 3D milling. So if you'll notice in the description I have some of these downloads right here. I have the model and the post processor. We're going to drag and drop those in like we have on the other tutorials. So first I'm going to go to create new document and I'm going to hit cancel. I don't want to do anything yet. I'm going to go into my folder and I'm going to drag and drop. Now I'm going to hit yes because I do want to import that file. And we're going to use the wizard like we did before. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to go into my pan so I can move it around. And if I hold control in the scrolling mouse, I can rotate. And I'm going to start working on getting this correct. So I'm going to pick 2 points for Z. I'll click a point here, and then I'll go up and click a point for Z. I'll hit next. I want to pick 2 points for X. It can be any of these directions. I'll click that one and that one. And you can tell that if I hit top, you can see how the direction looks good. I'll hit next. Now this is going to be really cool. I'm going to hit block. I don't want to enter specific sizes. I just want to compute the stock size from the boundary of the part. So everything's going to be identical. I'll hit next. I'm going to put my coordinate system in the center, and I'll hit next and I will hit finish. And you can see that everything has been imported. Now notice the more tutorials we do, the faster we're going to get on this. The next thing I will do, now that everything is where it should be, I'm going to go to my downloads. So I'm going to drag that post processor. See how it says HAWS right here? I'm just going to drag it and drop it. It is now changed to the Mazak post processor. So that's really cool. So this is where we're going to go pretty quick. So pay attention because this is really cool stuff that we're about to do, but it doesn't take long to do it. So first thing I want to do is go to features. I'm going to make a face. I don't want to extract from feature recognition. I just want to do a generic face. And then I'm simply going to hit finish. Now this means how much material is above Z0. So I'll just put 25 thousandths and I'll hit finish. I'll hit OK and then I'll hit play. Now when I hit play, it's going to be in my center line, and this is where running toolpath and a lot of it will work really well. So I'm going to speed this up, and then if I wanted to, I could go to 3D and I could hit play. Went really fast. I'll hit play again, and you can see it's going to come in. Now I like to stick with 3D. I kind of like to see what that looks like. I will hit eject. Remember, it didn't touch the face of it because Z0 is the top of the part. Now let's go ahead and go into creating these features. I'm going to go into boss from a curve. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to check this box. I'll hit next. I'm going to select a horizontal side. I will hit next. I'm going to click the top of this and add it because I want to do the majority of this. Hit next. Now right here, it normally will default to the very bottom. If you do that, it's going to cut away most of this right here. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to click the top of my surface, which by default it did go to a negative 375 thousandths. Now you notice that is there. Now if it had gone all the way down to the bottom, which it might default to, it's going to cut away the majority of your part. So don't do that. So make sure it looks like mine. I'm going to hit next and finish. I will hit OK and let's hit play. I'll move it kind of to the center and you can see that it's going to rough a good chunk of this out up until that location. Now I'll hit eject and I want to go ahead and get the rest of this. I want to get these curved half moon pockets, and then I want to finish the rest of the pocket. But I don't want to do too much because sometimes if you try to establish too many features, it can start going through the model. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do features. I'm going to go pocket. We're going to do extract with feature recognition. I'll hit next. Now automatic feature recognition. Now this one you can do a lot, but you can also get yourself in trouble by doing too much. I'm going to hit next. Now all it could find was this pocket right here. So everything I talked about doing, it did find everything, which is good. So I'll hit select all and I'm going to hit finish. And just like that, I'll hit play again. it's going to rough the top of it, and then it's going to come back and finish the bottom of that pocket, which is good because it's not going to be going through my model. So you can see that it's going to start doing its pocketing, and then it'll start doing those half moon pockets. And notice I don't have any hot pink showing up, which means my shank of my tool is not hitting. So in that first tutorial we did, I went over how to establish that and how to keep it from happening. So I'll hit eject, and we're almost through this whole part. It might not seem like it, and you might need to take your time and go a little bit slower and pause me a couple times, but we're going through this pretty quick. So I'm going to go back into features, and I'm going to establish these 3 pockets right here. I don't want to do too much. So I'm going to go to features, side, hit next. Now when I hit automatic feature recognition, it's going to try to highlight so much stuff. So I'm going to go to select sides, and I'm going to hit next. Now here's where you got to get kind of comfortable with your scrolling. I'm going to pan over, and if I hold control and the scroll, it's going to move over, but I also have to hold control this whole time. I'm going to select by left clicking all these sides that I can see in these 3 pockets, and you'll have to kind of roll it and select them. You can select them 1 pocket at a time, or you can do like I'm doing. Just make sure you take a quick little look and make sure that you get them all. Now once you do that, come over here and left click to add all of them. You can see all of them are there. I'll hit next and make sure the arrow is going the right way, and I'll click finish. It's going to say make sure it's right, looks fine. I'll hit OK, and I'll hit play. And then I'll kind of center this up. It's going to do all the other items. I'll speed it up just a little bit, and then it's going to get done with that, and then it's going to do my pockets all the way through, and then it's going to come back and it's going to finish those pockets. So those 3 pockets are done. I'm going to hit eject. The next thing we're going to look at, because I've already faced it, I've done these pockets and those pockets, and it has not taken us very long. What we're going to do next is we're going to select these open faces, and then we're going to go and select these pockets, and then we'll do the holes, and then we'll do some 3D surface milling. Okay, so let's go into features. I'm going to go into side. I'm going to click automatic feature recognition. Remember, less is more right here if it starts giving you craziness. And I'm going to select these sides right here, these little open areas. If you need to, you can zoom up to get closer to them. Like this one's kind of hard to see. I'm going to rotate it so I can make sure I'm grabbing the right one. And if you hit select all and it works, good. If it doesn't, I would just undo it and go from there. So I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to hit play. And we're going to speed it up just a little bit faster. And you can see that it put all those in there, and it did it in a different order. So that's where that automatic ordering works to your benefit. So it does less tool changes, and then it's going to open up all those pockets. So let's go ahead and come back over here to my isometric view. I'll hit eject. Now we're going to do these long slots. I'll go to feature recognition. I'm just going to go right back to next. Now I probably could have picked them with that last one, but it's not hurting anything if you didn't. So I'll select those again, and then I'll hit finish, and then I'm going to hit play again. And like I said, we'll speed this up a little bit. See how it does those pockets right there, and then it should come down after it finishes these walls, and then it's going to start doing those slots right there, which is really cool. So again, this is not taking us very long. So let's hit eject. The next thing I want to do is I want to put in all of these holes. So I'll go features. I'm going to go hole, extract with feature recognition, make sure that is selected. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hit next again. I'll leave all this defaulted. It's going to recognize all the holes. And then I'm simply going to hit select and finish. And it might take a second, and then it's going to go ahead and do all those holes. So let's hit play. And again, if you need to pause and do these little bits at a time, that's perfectly okay, because I am going through this a bit quick, but it's because this software is so intuitive, it knows what's going on, and all you have to know is just where to click it. So I've got my slots going right here. I've got those longer slots going, and then it's going to start doing all these holes, and it's going to be spot drilling them. And just like that, the majority of our entire part is finished. The next thing we have to do, which is the last thing, I'm going to hit eject. We're going to come through here and we're going to do this ramped angle. Now be careful where we're clicking and pay close attention. I'm going to go back up to features. We're going to come down here to surface milling. Now when I click next, it's asking for two sides. I'm going to click the ramp itself and add it, but I also want to come down here and I want to click this face right here. That way I'm setting a boundary for it to not go past so it knows what's going on. So I'm going to add both of those. I'm going to click next, and then I'm just going to start with this. I'm going to choose a rough, a semi-finish, and a finish operation so it does most of the work for me. I will hit next. We're going to use a 1/2" tool. We're going to leave a finish allowance of 10 thousandths, and I have a tolerance of 5. I'm going to do Z level rough, but I don't want to do a boss. I'm going to make it a 3D pocket. That's going to help with its understanding of what I'm asking for. And then I'm going to hit next. Now on here for semi-finishing, because it is a simple ramping operation, I'm going to hit next and not do any semi-finish. And then right here, I'm going to come down to parallel, and then I'm going to let it do its thing. So I'll hit next one more time. It's got a 1/2" ball nose end mill. C for the B right there. And then I'm simply going to hit finish. Now I could come in here and hit next and do feeds and speeds, and that's up to you. So I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to hit play. Now it's going to take a second to think because it's doing all of that calculating, and then I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. Now notice it roughed it right there, which is good. So after the holes, it comes through and does that. But if I look at this, that doesn't look very smooth. Like, I don't like that. That's going to be a lot of deburr, and that's more work on my part. And I'm going to tell you, I don't want to do more work than what I have to. So the good news is it didn't gouge. Like I said, if it starts cutting away all of your part, you need to go back and follow my instructions on how to correctly select those surfaces. But I'm going to hit eject. Now again, this part has a global settings when it comes to step over and machine attributes and surfacing and depth of cut. So we're going to change one of those aspects, and I'm going to show you where that's at. So I'm going to come up here to features and manufacturing. I'm going to come to machining attributes. Now if it's not here, there are multiple ways of getting to it. You're just going to have to look for it. I believe sometimes you can come down here to this toolbar where the machining attributes are also located. But I'm going to click on this one. Now in milling, I'm going to go over to step over. It was already there. Now right here on allowance, I'm going to select the finish pass and allowance, and I'm going to change this to 10 thousandths on the step over, and I'm going to hit OK. Like say I didn't want to do a global edit on all of my features. Maybe I just wanted to go to the surface mill. So if I right click on it and go to properties, I'm going to go to parallel finishing. On the finish 2, I'm going to go to milling, and if you'll notice there's something called step over. I'm going to change it right here. I'm going to hit set and apply. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to hit play again. And now when it comes to it, it might not seem like it takes longer, but we're going to see. There it is. So I didn't change my speed at all, but look how much longer it's taken to make these parallel finishing moves. Now when I zoom up on it, woo-wee, that looks a lot better right there. So that means I'm not going to have to do a lot of deburr work, but it's up to you to find out how much deburr work you're allowed, because this might run for a long time. So let's find out exactly how long it runs for. So in NC code, I can see that it's going to run for 2 hours and 37 minutes. Now that's a long time. Now if you wanted to look at this before we changed it from 50 thousandths to 10 thousandths, it would probably be a lot faster. So it's up to you to define what you're allowed to run this at and how much deburr you want to do. So that's outside my control right there. It's kind of up to you and who you work for. But if I come to op list, or if I go to the details and look at my tool list, I can see these are all the tools I need. And from there, I'm done, which is really cool because that honestly didn't take us very long. So remember, take your time, make sure you follow these procedures very carefully, and then if it starts messing up on you, just hit the undo button a couple times and you can undo just a couple steps and then restart. So again, my name is Aaron Runk. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more tutorials.